Today we're going to count down the top 5 cars that you should buy for under $10,000. And yes, there are plenty of cars out there for under $10,000. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to Adam Drives LA, where typically we're driving the coolest cars on LA's most iconic roads. Now today we are back doing another studio session where I'm going to tell you the top 5 cars to get for under $10,000. Now before we start, I'll tell you the best places to pick these cars up is going to be OfferUp, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace. I've seen the most success on OfferUp, but I do have friends that say Facebook is the best place to go. So check your community, check around, see what there is, and you'll find the best place. But there are plenty of cool cars under $10,000. More importantly, there are plenty of bad cars under $10,000. So I'll go over both of those, tell you what to watch out for, and the kind of things to look for, because when I look for a daily driver, this is generally the price range I'm looking at. So let's get right into it with number 5. Number 5 on our list is going to be the Pontiac Solstice GXP. Now the reason I picked this is, considering this price range, I'm assuming this is going to be a daily driver. Now what better daily driver than a little tiny car that comes in a manual transmission, turbo 4-cylinder, lightweight, convertible, and can still just zoom around through town and is a fun car all around. Generally pretty reliable. Now they do come from Pontiac, a brand that does not exist anymore, but almost all the parts are just Chevy parts. I used to get my Pontiac GTO serviced at Chevy, never a problem. So I find plenty of these under $10,000. Keep your eyes open, find a good one. Again, look for one with low ownership history, 1 owner, 2 owner. These were also cars that were just purchased by people who love to own these cars, enthusiasts, people who took care of them. So very fun car all around. I have driven one in the past, and until now, I keep my eyes open for a good deal for a daily driver. Now with that said, let's jump into number 4 on our list. Coming in at number 4 on our list is a hot hatchback, which you should expect in this price range. Of course, it is the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now this is an all-around fun car. It has a fun, quirky design, fun, quirky interior, the plaid seats. You get them in a manual transmission, pretty reliable. I have not had much experience with these. I've driven and been driven in a couple of them in the past. Nothing but good experiences, but do your research. This is, at the end of the day, a Volkswagen, so I know some of these have the problematic engine, so keep your eyes out, look for a good example of one of these. I mean, just until now, I still turn my head when I see a white one, a clean with that modern look. They still look cool, the big funky headlights and the big taillights. I love to see these little cars going down the street because they're super practical, very affordable, especially now, and you can still find them with pretty low miles, even in this price range, under $10,000. So keep your eyes out for one. It's a great car to just throw in your garage and have it for any time you need it. Good car to just go around town. So let's jump into number 3. Number 3 on this list is a controversial one, so I'm gonna have to explain why I picked a 2012 BMW 528i. Yes, I picked a 5 Series, which you're normally told to stay away from, but the 2012 had the refreshed body, right? And they have dropped in value so fast. I mean, I can't even find another car that has dropped that quickly. You do normally find them a little bit above $10,000, more so in the $12,000, $13,000 range. But if you keep your eyes open, you search daily like I've been, I have negotiated one down to $8,500 with 90,000 miles. Now that sounds like a lot, and it is for a BMW, especially a 5 Series, but if you're considering the amount of car that you get once you put a little bit of money to fix any kind of issues, find a good example, a good Carfax history. This is going to be the most car you can get in this price range. I mean, you're going to get a very much a modern BMW, modern features, very good safety, great tech, and a beautiful design. I really like the design on these, and it's just overall going to be probably the most unexpected one to have on this list. As far as what you expected in a daily driver under $10,000, nobody will believe that you paid less than 10 grand for this car. So even if you have to go a little bit over, I would suggest this is a great car to own. I've got my eyes open looking for one, so if one comes around, do not be too worried to take it in. Go to a mechanic, make sure everything is good, spend a little bit of money to just get the right one. But once you do, this is a car you'll be really happy with. Great handling, good luxury, good features, and a cool design. I mean, really a car you don't expect to be under $10,000. With that said, let's look at number 2 on our list. Number 2 on our list is probably going to be my favorite car on this list. That is going to be a 2007 to 2012 Lexus GS. Now I'll tell you, you cannot go wrong with a Lexus under $10,000. The level of reliability you get on top of all of the luxury and the fun power and the good looks and the cool features, I mean, the level of reliability you get for that is just unmatched. I can't find a car since the Lexus that I have owned, which was a 2001 GS. That was a car, think about it, 20 years ago, and I owned one just earlier this year. The navigation, the touchscreen navigation worked flawlessly, better than my Maserati Ghibli. I was shocked when I saw that, and throughout my ownership, I mean, I don't remember a single problem that car had other than just an alignment issue. We fixed that for maybe under $200 for everything and anything that was included. And from then, I had a perfect Lexus with 135,000 miles. I drove it many more miles after that. I believe I drove it about 15 to 20,000 more. I drove it everywhere. During the quarantine, I took it to the beach every other day. I mean, this is a car I never had worry with. I always wanted the next generation. That is the 2007 to 2012 GS. This is a beautiful car, fantastic interior, plenty of room all around, cool features. Once again, a car that I would not be worried for a second picking one up that even has 150,000 miles, as long as it looks like it's been taken well care of. I mean, there's just no issues with these cars, and any other car you get that matches the luxury and the kind of level of prestige that came with Lexus, if you go to any of the German brands, I'm telling you, you are going to be stuck in a money pit trying to find something with high mileage at a low cost, and the Lexus is the one to go for. The GS surprisingly still is worth around that 10,000 mark for a decent one. So if you have to go a little bit over, I suggest you do so. This is a tremendous car, and if I find a good deal in LA, you will see me post it. I'm picking one of these up soon. With all that said, coming in at number 1 on the list, you probably expected it. Take a minute to guess. It is the Nissan 350Z. This is the coolest car you can get for under $10,000. And shockingly enough, you can even pick these up for under $7,000. I was just in a negotiating war with someone last week trying to pick up a 350Z. It had pretty high miles. It was about 118,000, 119,000, somewhere there. And I was in the price of about $6,000. So believe me when I tell you, they're out there. They're all over the place. They made them in high volume, and I'll tell you why it's such a great car to have. 1, reliability. These are tremendously reliable, simple to work on, easy. 2, the aftermarket world on these is endless. I mean, all over the world, and it's so cheap to modify. 3, if anything does break, the cost to fix is so cheap. This is a Japanese car in high volume, very affordable. It's not gonna break the bank. 4, the design is just iconic as it gets. I mean, I put it on the level of the Audi TT. It's that iconic. When it came out, I mean, there's just no car that looked like it. And 5, the engine, the sound, how iconic was that? I mean, when they just came out between the 350Z and the G35s, I mean, you always knew when you heard one pass by exactly what it was. So I am looking for a manual one of these. I know I've said I'm looking for pretty much all the cars on this list, so I do search, but a 350Z is just so within reach. I've seen them, I've already negotiated with a few people, I'm talking to some people now, so you might see me pick one up very soon. I would highly recommend anyone who is thinking about getting a 350Z to find a good one, and you can definitely get them for under $10,000. I would say hunt for one under $8,000. I know in LA, I see them all the time. Maybe in your city, they're even cheaper. So find a decent example. These are, again, not cars that you would really expect to have a lot of problems. So even if it's one that's been slightly beat up, you just take it in, you get a few things replaced, and you have a fantastically fun car that you can throw around. And it's a car that you're not gonna really worry about scratching something, hitting a wheel, doing any of that, like curb rash. I mean, have fun with it. Everything is so cheap. A whole set of wheels and tires. I just saw them the other day on OfferUp. People are selling them all day for 500 bucks. I mean, you can go through set after set, just do burnouts, have fun. That's what this car is all about. Now, before I close out this video, I do want to tell you some of the cars you should stay away from, and I've learned this the hard way when I used to flip cars. In this price range, The number one biggest bandit that you need to be careful with, because it's so tempting, is to get a Porsche Boxster. There are so many of them for under 10 grand. You'll find some for as little as $5,000, and it's very tempting. You hear the owner took good care of it, and it's a manual, and it's a convertible. But God, these are expensive to take care of, because in high mileage situations, which is what they all are in that price range, it's a nightmare. The transmissions go bad, the engines are difficult to work on. I mean, these are just not cars to get cheap. They're fantastic cars, don't get me wrong, but I would suggest buy them on the more expensive side. Buy a used one with lower miles. Get them under 70,000 miles. Get them under 50 if you can, which will be harder, but spend a little bit more. Don't look for the ones that are under 10 grand. Definitely stay away from anything that's $5,000, because there are plenty of them in LA. Other cars to watch out for are generally going to be a lot of the German V8s. So a BMW 7 Series, any kind of older S-Class Mercedes. Watch out for these. These are all worth so little for a reason, because they're difficult, they're expensive. Nobody wants this headache. Another one to definitely be careful with on the American side are Cadillacs and Lincolns, both very problematic. Again, this is why these $50,000, $60,000 cars are now in the $5,000 range. Be careful with that. Go with the list I provided. And speaking of that, let me know if there's anything I missed on this list. I know there are a lot of cool cars and a lot of you that are looking for these cheap, fun cars to just throw around. So if there's anything I missed, hit me in the comments. While you're down there, smash the like button, and I will see you in the next car.